of your performance of return trust in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberations in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our county and of those whose interest you have committed to our church. Amen. Honorable members, I want to refer us to our standing orders, number 32, concerning the quorum when the chair has just been taken. And in that respect, I want to direct the sergeant at arms to ring the quorum bell for the first 5 minutes. Clerk. Honorable Seth, can you? Clerk, can you take us to the order of the day?
Tuesday, 25th May 2024, Third Assembly, Third Session, Order number 043. Order number 1, Administration of Oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, Communication from the Chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, Messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, Petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, Papers.
Next order.
Order number 6.
Honorable Clerk, can you hold on? Yes. Yes, Clerk, can you continue?
Order number 6, Notices of Motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, Statements.
The Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to give a statement for the week commencing Wednesday, 29th May to Tuesday, 4th June, 2024. That is on Wednesday, 29th May, 2024 at 9 a.m. Substantive business for the day. The chairperson, Pick Park Committee, Honorable Kennedy Ouko, will move a motion for adoption of the report on examination of the Auditor General's report and financial statements of Chulaimbo County Level 4 Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2022. On Thursday, 30th May 2024 at 2:30 p.m. Papers to be laid. The chairperson of Pick Park Committee will table a report on consideration of the Auditor's General Report and financial statements of Jaramogi Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital financial year 2021-2022. Notice of motion. The chairperson of Pick Park will give a notice of motion that this House adopts a report of Pick Park Committee on consideration of the Auditor General's Report and financial statements of Jaramogi Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital financial year 2021-2022. Substantive business for the day. The chairperson of the Select Committee on Labor and Social Services will move a motion for adoption of the committee report on the benchmarking exercise at Migori County Assembly. On Tuesday, 4th, papers to be laid. The chairperson Sectoral Committee on Medical Services, Public Health and Sanitation will table reports on the status of Moroni Hospital, Moroni County Hospital, Lumumba County Hospital, Kombewa County Hospital, and the financial management concerns in the county health care system, case of audit reports by Pick Park Committee. Proposal to amend the Kisumu County Health Facilities Improvement Fund, Act 2021 in accordance with FIF Act 2023. Notices of motion. The chairperson Select Committee on Medical Services, Public Health and Sanitation will give notices of motion that this House adopts its report on the status of Moroni County Hospital, Lumumba County Hospital, Kombewa County Hospital, the financial statement concerns in the county healthcare system, case of audit reports by Pick Park Committee, proposal to amend the Kisumu County Health Facilities Improvement Fund, Act 2021 in accordance with FIF Act 2023. The Leader of Majority will issue a statement pursuant to orders number 41-2C on the businesses coming before the County Assembly for the week commencing Wednesday, 5th June 2024. Then substantive business for the day. The chairperson, Pick Park Committee, will move a motion for adoption of the committee report on examination of the Auditor General's report and financial statements of Jaramogi Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital financial year 2021-2022. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, it's still statement hour. Next order.
Commencement of business, order number 8, motion on adoption of a report of PICPAC committee on examination of the Auditor General's report for the financial statements of Muhoroni County Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2022.
PICPAC. Yes, Honorable Warindu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm standing in for the Chair, PICPAC, who is on an official duty. Thank you, Madam Speaker, again. Allow me to move a motion on the examination of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Muhoroni County Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2022. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee, PICPAC, and pursuant to Kisumu County Assembly Standing Orders 188, I wish to present to this House the report of the Committee on the Audited Financial Statement of Muhoroni County Hospital for the financial year 2021-2022. The County Assembly exercises oversight over county government entities, investments, and their expenditure pursuant to Article 185(3) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 through the Public Accounts and Investment Committee, which in turn derives its mandate from the County Assembly Standing Orders. Article 229(8) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 requires the County Assembly within 3 months after receiving an audit report to debate, consider the report, and take appropriate action. The committee held 3 sittings, during which it received both written and oral evidence from the accounting officers on audit queries raised by the Auditor General of the financial statement of Muhoroni County Hospital for the year 2021-2022. Honorable Speaker, I wish to register my appreciation to fellow honorable members of the committee, the Office of the Speaker and the Clerk of the Assembly, Committee Secretariat, and the Office of the Auditor General for the facilitation and technical support that made the production of this report possible. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee, I now wish to table the report on the consideration of the Auditor General report on the financial statement of Muhoroni County Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2022 and urge this House to adopt it. A report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Muhoroni Sub-County Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2022. Honorable Speaker, the Medical Superintendent, Dr. Akwom David, appeared before the committee on 14th March 2024 to adduce evidence on the audited financial statement of the Muhoroni Sub-County Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2022. He was accompanied by the following officers: Mr. John Kauma, Dr. Don Sande, and Mr. Ezekiel Onunga, the accountant. The following officers represented the Office of the Auditor General in the committee meeting: Kennedy Ongoi, Office of the Auditor General, and Margaret Mwage. Basis for adverse opinion: inadequate presentation and disclosure in the reports and financial statements, variance between financial statement and ledger / trial balance, and inaccuracies in revenue. A review of the revenue accounting revealed the following inaccuracies. Number 1, variance in transfers from the county government between financial statement and cash book. 2, variance in revenue collected, inaccuracies in revenue from National Health Insurance Fund and supported revenue from exchange transactions, variances in Board of Management expenses, unbalanced statement of financial positions, inaccuracies of cash and cash equivalents balance, inaccuracies in statement of cash flow, cash generated from operations, non-disclosure of inventories, unaccounted for property, plant and equipment, and supported amounts in the financial statements. A review of the expenditure revealed that various reported amounts were not adequately supported as indicated below. Roman 1, unsupported expenditure from authorities to incur expenditure, unsupported expenditure on repairs and maintenance, unsupported pending claims receivable from NHIF, lack of trial balance, non-compliance with the law on budget preparation, non-compliance with the law on cash flow planning, irregular direct procurement of medical/clinical goods and services, non-retention of own-generated revenue, underpayment of casual workers, and internal controls weaknesses related to payments. The committee summarized the following observations. Number 1, that the hospital management failed to adhere to the Public Finance Management Act 2012, Section 164(1), which states that at the end of each financial year, the accounting officer for a county government entity shall prepare financial statement in respect of the entity in formats to be prescribed by the Accounting Standards Board. Number 2, that there was a lack of qualified accountants in the management of Moroni Sub-County Hospital to assist in the proper preparation of the financial statement. Number 3, that there was no induction for the medical superintendent and the management in regard to their roles in the management of public funds. 4, as at the time of committee deliberations, the management had sufficiently explained the variances. This was confirmed by the Office of the Auditor General during the meeting. 5, the correct amount that was transferred to the hospital by the county government is 6,740,426 Kenyan shillings. That are number 6, that as at the time of committee deliberations, the management had identified and reconciled the variances. 7, that during the financial year, the management did not retain the receipts issued by the county treasury to acknowledge receipt of revenue remitted by the hospital, but they submitted the same during the committee deliberations. 8, that at the time of the audit, the Board of Management utilized an approved expenditure of 268,500 shillings and 28,500 Kenyan shillings respectively, totaling 297,000 Kenyan shillings, which violated the law. Number 9, the management did not carry out stock takes of inventories contrary to Section 162, Roman 1 of the Public Procurement and Disposal Act 2015, which states that an accounting officer of a procuring entity shall ensure that all inventories, store and assets purchased are received, but shall not be used until taken on charge, and as a basis for ensuring that all procured items are properly accounted for and put in proper use, and put in proper use as intended by the procuring entity. Number 10, the management violated Public Finance Management Regulation 2015, Section 136(1), which provides that the accounting officer shall be responsible for maintaining a register of assets under his or her control or possession as prescribed by the relevant laws. As at the time of committee deliberations, payment vouchers and related supporting documents had been provided and verified to the auditors. Number 12, that at the time of committee deliberations, the pending claims receivables from NHIF had been supported. 13, the trial balance used to prepare the financial statement was not provided for audit. Number 14, that the management did not comply with the law on budget preparation, contrary to Regulation 30, Roman 1 of the Public Finance Management Regulations 2015, which requires the budget preparation process for the following financial year to start not later than 30th August of the current financial year. Observe this. Number 15, that the management did not comply with Section 122 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, which requires every county government entity to submit an annual cash flow plan and forecast to the county treasury in a form and a manner directed by the county treasury. 16, that contrary to the requirements of Section 106 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015, the management did not competitively procure goods and services relating to medical stroke clinical cost of 1,732,800 Kenyan shillings during the year under review. Further, management paid individual persons who lacked registered business names an additional amount of 491,110 Kenyan shillings for the supply of goods. That the management did not adhere to Section 3F of the Kisumu County Health Facilities Improvement Act 2021, which provides that the object and purpose of the Act are to facilitate retention of monies collected by public health facilities for the purpose of supporting the facilities to deliver relevant services. That there were underpayments to casual workers totaling to 1,283,581, which is below the recommended rate, contrary to Regulation 11.5 of the Regulation of Wages, General Orders, and Kenyan Gazette Supplementary Number 1, dated 8th January 2019. And 19, that the hospital payment vouchers were not serially numbered, examined, and authorized. Consequently, the dates the vouchers were posted in the cash book were also not indicated. Recommendations. The committee summarized the following recommendations: that going forward, the management must adhere to the requirements of Section 164(1) of the Public Finance Management Act 2012. That going forward, information must be provided to the auditors during the time of audit as prescribed in Section 62B of the Public Audit Act 2015. That going forward, the management must ensure that the financial statement represents the true and fair position of the hospital. That going forward, the management should have proper records for all revenues. Number 5, that going forward, the management should put up proper verifiable mechanisms to ensure that revenues are collected efficiently in case of a system failure. Number 6, that going forward, management must retain receipts issued by the county treasury for acknowledgement. Number 7, the board of management violated the PFM Act by using money which has not been approved. 8, that going forward, the management must adhere to Section 162(1) of the Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act 2015. 9, the management must adhere to Regulation 136 of the Public Finance Management Regulation 2015. 10, that the accounting officer initiates with immediate effect the valuation of all fixed assets and a report on the same be submitted to this assembly within a period of 90 days upon adoption of this report. That the management immediately prepares an up-to-date fixed asset register, including values of assets purchased by the facility, and submit a status report within a period of 14 days upon the adoption of this report. Number 12, the management must adhere to Regulation 31 of the Public Finance Management 2015. The committee must adhere to Section 122 of the Public Finance Management Act. The management must adhere to Section 106 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. The management must adhere to Section 3F of the Kisumu County Health Facilities Improvement Fund Act. The management must be compelled to pay all pending arrears to existing casual workers who are underpaid. And number 17, the management should adhere to Regulation 11.5 of the Regulation of Wages, Orders, and Kenyan Gazette Supplement Number 1, dated 8th January 2019. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, I hereby request that this House adopt this report of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the consideration of the Auditor's General Report on the financial statement of the Muhoroni Sub-County Hospital for the year ended 30th June. And for those who are following this was a moving note that the main report had been sent in our WhatsApp groups, and I believe those who at the time went through the major report. Madam Speaker, may I now call upon Honorable Seth Okumu to second the report.
Yes, Honorable Seth.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to second the adoption of this report by Public Accounts and Investment Committee. Madam Speaker, this is a report giving us the status of Muhoroni Sub-County Hospital in terms of management of resources. Madam Speaker, even though the hospital got an adverse report, house, that an audit report, apart from just showing us what has happened, it's a pointer on what we need to do to make things better. Madam Speaker, if you read from that report, you see some things that the audit notices that are supposed to be facilitated by the county government. Madam Speaker, I will emphasize on this because I have gone through all the reports of our sub-county and county hospitals. Madam Speaker, without a proper accountant, Madam Speaker, we are putting our accounting officers, who in most cases are either doctors or pharmacists, we are giving them a lot of work, because without staffing, then you are the person treating the patients, you are the one collecting the money, you are the one procuring, buying things. At the same time, you are the same person who is supposed to be reporting. So remember, as a matter of urgency, we need to have sub-county accounting officers to help our hospitals so that we can have adequate reporting. Madam Speaker, the report is so bad and paints a wrong picture on our professionals, especially those who are doctors. Madam Speaker, I plead with the honorable members that as we are going for this budget, let's ensure that as we start the new financial year, we shall have an accounting officer in each and every sub-county to help our county and sub-county hospitals. Madam Speaker, we've made recommendations. Honorable member, a colleague of mine was asking me, and that makes me give this submission. Most of the time, it's believed that Auditor General report is only about money. But if you look at the Auditor General's report, it will tell you, including the staffing of a facility, including the asset register, including, so, Madam Speaker, it's not limited to just the use of money, but it gives you the overall status of a facility and can help us also plan for this facility. Madam Speaker, where we found individuals culpable for any loss of funds or for any mismanagement of our assets, we've always made recommendations that are individually impacting such officers. But Madam Speaker, if you look at this report, we are foreseeing that most of the challenges that this hospital is facing does not fall majorly on individuals. And that's why there are recommendations that Honorable Dede was telling you that look so general. But we are telling them, yes, it's bad, but they need to, in future, adhere with what the law says in terms of management of resources. Madam Speaker, I rise to second.
Honorable members, the Pig Park Committee has presented the report on the Auditor General on the financial statements on of Muhoroni County Hospital for the year ended 30th June. A motion that has been moved by Honorable Warindo and seconded by Honorable Seth Okum. I therefore want to propose that the report be open for discussion. Yes, Honorable Nyaoke.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. Madam Speaker, I want to, we have just had my colleague present the report that we still have before us, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, I just want to make maybe a few comments, and I'll bear in mind the time allocation that we are given to debate on a particular issue, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we have got two main items that this report has given us today. And indeed, it is not only today, but similar issues have been raised even in other reports, Madam Speaker. And that one of them is the summary of observations. Madam Speaker, it really beats the logic sometimes if we have to keep on indicating in our reports that particular officers that have been given responsibility have in fact have deviated from what the law provides in whichever areas or jurisdictions they have, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, some of the observations are straightforward and says that though the management failed to adhere to some specific laws, Madam Speaker, related to what their jobs or what their responsibilities are supposed to entail, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is now becoming a normal issue and a normal procedure that these officers continue making the same mistakes they are making year in, year out, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, one of the observations that I take a lot of concern is the observation number 8 that says that at the time of the audit, the Board of Management utilized an approved expenditure of Kenya shillings 268,500 and 28,500 respectively, totaling to 297,000, which violated the law. Madam Speaker, where on earth do you have an accountant or a management officer who uses public money or resources the way or she wants? Even not being authorized, but they continue. They go ahead to use and spend the way they want, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if I go back to number 2, that there was lack of qualified accountants in the management of Muhoroni Sub-County Hospital to assist in proper preparation of the financial statements. Madam Speaker, this is really a terrible situation. You cannot just pick. In fact, it is even important to follow up the person who picked this unqualified person now to be in charge of finances of such an institution, Madam Speaker. Maybe the qualification can be a bit lower, but let us have somebody who knows what they are supposed to do, Madam Speaker. Then let me jump to number 19. Number 19 says that the hospital's payment vouchers were not serially numbered, examined, and authorized. Consequently, the dates the vouchers were posted in the cash book were also not indicated. Madam Speaker, you can't have unserialized vouchers to be used in any institution, which means anybody is allowed. You can have your own books because you cannot justify even the number of which voucher you are using, Madam Speaker. This is a plain crime that somebody is trying to commit. And it is important that we make note of that so that they know that we don't just look at these things the way we look at them, but we are going to critically look at them, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the last observation, I know there are many, but I'm going to number 18, that there were underpayments to casual workers totaling to 1.283581 million, which is below the recommended rates, contrary to Regulation 11.5 of the Regulation of Wages, General Wages, that is, Orders and Kenya Gazette Supplement number 1, dated 8 January 2019. Madam Speaker, the other issue we have even in our respective wards or sub-county hospitals we have are the payment of casual workers. Madam Speaker, these people are not like getting paid. They are just being given some meager cash to help them only if they ask for it, Madam Speaker. There is no specific, and we have a lot of complaints coming from such kind of people, Madam Speaker. So the observation that have been given here, and if you look at the recommendation, that is why I'm actually divided into two, whether to support the adoption of this report, because the observations are very clear. But if you come to recommendations, Madam Speaker, the procedure that the recommendation has been put of now classifying them as way forward, going forward, we are not solving what they have really observed, Madam Speaker. The issue of going forward should be able to solve the problem that we are already identifying in this kind of report, Madam Speaker. And it should therefore be known that where somebody has failed to adhere to the regulations, Madam Speaker, that is something that should be subjected to further investigations. Madam Speaker, summary of this, the answers to these observations, the recommendation, the bottom line recommendation is that this report should have been sent to the DCI for further investigations, Madam Speaker, so that we really know the reason why, even in such kind of institution, there is somebody who does not know anything to do with accounts, but he has been given the responsibility to handle the accounts in that particular institution, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I can see you are worried about time, but I beg to stop there.
No, Honorable Nyauke, you're almost consuming your time, but I just wanted to say you have very brilliant proposals, recommendations within the committee, but you ought to have forwarded them. So you see, the committee report is not final, that members are still allowed to make recommendations in the same. So I just want to urge members that we should never stop at the recommendations made by the committee. That is why these documents are shared in time, to give you time to forward your recommendations so that we can incorporate them within the report. Because you have very good ideas, but then now they'll remain as discussions within the House. But anyway, I hope members are taking note. You can now conclude.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my colleague who just moved the motion, I'm very much sure that he's making notes and taking notes. And I think I would not object if he can include some of the issues that I've mentioned here as part of my recommendations. Maybe you should be able to include and let that one be the last. I think your last recommendation, maybe mine can now be the last one, that this document should be forwarded to DCI for further investigation. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to support. Sorry, Can I call someone to support, to second, Madam Speaker?
Honorable Nyaoke, you know the rules of debate. You have very good proposals, but unfortunately you ought to have brought them an hour prior to this.
On a point of order, Madam Speaker.
What is your point of order, Honorable Seth?
Madam Speaker, the honourable member is suggesting that we take a document to DCI for investigation. Madam Speaker, I'm not sure which document is referring to and what procedure provides that a document be taken to, that document specifically to be taken to DCI for investigation. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Nyaoke, Honorable Seth does not understand why you need the DCI to be involved in investigation of a document. So just try to explain to him, or maybe to the House, which document and which procedure.
Madam Speaker, the document I'm talking about is this report that has been read before us, Madam Speaker. And it is this document that has been subjected to the debate that we are on at the moment, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this particular document has got an array of observations and recommendations, Madam Speaker. I have actually picked some of those recommendations. I've talked on them. I've also talked about some few recommendations that have been made there, Madam Speaker. What I have done, I think even is acceptable as per the standing orders, is to suggest that this particular document, because I'm very much sure that there are certain investigations that maybe we may not be able to do ourselves, but we can get a proper report from such kind of bodies. Those are the legal bodies that are allowed, that are able to undertake proper investigation, particularly on the areas that I've mentioned, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Nyaoke. Honorable Seth, I hope you are properly informed.
Madam Speaker, I think the honourable member is even misleading me further, that a report of a committee should be taken to DCI. A report of a committee is brought in this House, members discuss, they adopt, and make recommendations to different places. But this new one, where a report of a committee is supposed to go to DCI and other bodies, I don't know if his orientation was poor.
Honorable Seth, I don't want to subject this to a discussion between you and Honorable Nyaoke, but I believe Honorable Nyaoke is proposing that recommendation, one of the recommendations should have involved further investigation by other expert bodies. I want to believe that's what he is trying to say, but I want us to continue. Yes, Honorable, many thanks.
Thank you. Many thanks, Honorable Madam Speaker. Many thanks to my fellow colleagues, honorable members. I am privileged this afternoon to stand here and to share on some good report done by the ABLE Committee of PICPAC. Honorable Madam Speaker, together with the honorable members, Muhoroni Sub-County Hospital sits right down in my ward. And I want these observations that I'm going, as I support the very good report that has been done by the committee. Honorable Madam Speaker, together with the honorable members, today I have known very clearly from the report the reasons why the hospital has got numerous, very many issues. The report actually has dwelt so much on the financial misappropriation as compared to the inefficiency. But basically, if you look at the financial misappropriation, it relates to poor services. I want to report to this House confidently that at times I need my sleep at night because of the poor services being offered at the facility. You can clearly see that all the recommendations, the 25 of them, from the committee is talking about the financial mismanagement. Honorable Madam Speaker, I want to tell you today that the patients are sleeping hungry. Honorable Madam Speaker, together with the honorable members, in Moroni Sub-County Hospital, wagonjwa wanalala njaa. I want to report confidently in this place that if you take a walk to the hospital today, the casuals that are not being paid are not doing their bit. The hospital is very bushy. And in fact, even it's quite a big risk of the snakes crawling over to the wards. Today, I want to report here confidently that Moroni Sub-County Hospital does not have medicine or so-called drugs. The pharmacy would be stopped on the day they know the committee will be paying them a visit. You go there, I was there, I accompanied the committee, we saw a number of drugs. The following day, those things were removed immediately. I want here to report confidently that there are a lot of problems in this hospital, but the same relates to the financial mismanagement. The thieving and the thieving and the thieving from morning to evening. The money spent, we don't have the accurate people, we don't have the experts running the revenue, the small revenues coming from, or the much revenues coming from the hospital, and we end up in this kind of a situation. I want, and I advise the authorities, while I would not like to recommend what I don't know, like some of my colleagues are saying the matter be taken to DCI, I do not have any authority to tell the committee what they need to do, but I want to believe that the committee has done their bit, and from there, the relevant authorities within the County Assembly of Kisumu should pick up this thing so that we move forward in the right way. I have seen a lot of going forward in the report. I don't know what is going to happen to what has been done in the past. Are we going to take some actions? Are we going to take some actions against the people who have messed up? Honorable Madam Speaker, many thanks. Many thanks together with my fellow colleagues, honorable members. Many thanks this afternoon, and I support the report 100%. Thank you.
Yes, honorable members. Honorable member representing North Seme. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. As I stand to add my voice on this report, first, I don't know whether I'm going to support it or not, but I'm just worried on the content. Like now I'm asking myself, whatever we've been receiving a report for the sub-counties, and if this is the route that we have in these sub-county hospitals, what about these other small hospitals? I think it is high time, as an assembly or as a county, we need to go deep and know what is happening in these other small hospitals also. Because we could be just talking about these reports from the sub-counties, but when you go to hospitals like Rata, you might find that it's worse than these things that we are seeing from the sub-county hospitals. I'll say that I'm going to support it, but we need to dig deeper. Thank you. I can tell members are either done with the submissions or are satisfied with the report, the findings and the recommendations, and therefore no further submissions are coming forth. Can we therefore allow the mover to reply? I'm seeing the Honorable Whip trying to get out of his chair. I don't know. Honorable Whip.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to call upon the mover to reply.
Thank you, Honorable Whip. Honorable Warindo.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and for those that have contributed to the report, and indeed, the report on the recommendations on all the reports from the sub-counties hostels have been the same, and the members had contributed to the other reports. And maybe that's why today we have very few members contributing on this. Madam Speaker, I've always looked forward for this Honorable House. I've always looked forward for a member proposing the amendment on our recommendations, on the good recommendations that we are having, so that some of us can know the procedure and the steps that is needed to make an amendment. But up to this day, I've not seen one. And I'm requesting the senior members, Honorable Whip, Seth, those who are senior, to kindly, I wanted to request Honorable Seth to kindly take his time to enlighten a friend on the procedure and the cases and circumstances where a matter can be taken to EACC. Our task is to write a report with the recommendations and bring it to the Assembly to adopt it. And I think the PICPAC committee have done that. And this is the first time that our sub-county hostel facilities are being audited. And you'll agree, and I'll agree with the members that the management staffs that are there, it's like in all the sub-county hostels, they are lacking the qualified accountants. When we raised this for the first time, all the sub-county hostels were given one roaming accountant who was doing all the reports. And from the recommendations that we've given, and the assurance that we were given by the Department of Health Committee, that they have taken this matter seriously, and they have requested that each and every sub-county hostel be seconded with a qualified accountant. And I believe going forward, we won't be seeing reports of this type. Those who are working on this report, some of them were medical superintendents, and they have a lot of work that they are attending to. The major problem that we are facing and the challenges that we are getting from these facilities is that there is inadequacy of staffing. And actually, we can't put all the blames on them. And sometimes, I usually advise that we just need to be patriots sometimes and acknowledge and give credit where it's due. Those are our health facility workers. They're those who are dedicated to their work. And they are really making a lot of sacrifices to make our facilities be effective. We cannot say that just because of this report, there's nothing which is going on in our sub-county hostels. This is our county, and we have the best interest of it. The request that has been made that we are in the budget making process, we really need to urge and push for the higher budgeting to the Department of Health so that our facilities can be equipped fully and the staffs can be hired there. On those that have been found to breach the laws, I think they should be held responsible, and they should account for the losses that have been reported. With those few remarks, Madam Speaker, I beg to reply. Thank you.
Honorable members. A motion on the report, on the adoption of the report of the Auditor General of the financial statements of Muhoroni County Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2022 has been moved, seconded, and sufficiently discussed. It is therefore my privilege to put a question for adoption. And I want to ask that may as many are of the opinion that the report be adopted say aye. May as many of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. And the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Muhoroni County Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2022 has been adopted today, Thursday, 28th May 2024 at 15:30 hours. Honorable members, I've said Thursday, and I want to repeat that the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the Muhoroni County Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2022 has been adopted today, Tuesday, 28th May 2024 at 15:31 hours. And I want to recommend that the report, together with the answered, be prepared and forwarded to the relevant departments for action. And I can see the chair implementation. Kindly, the implementation committee ensure that the recommendations and the resolutions of the House are executed. Thank you. Next order.
Madam Speaker and honorable members, there is no other business for transaction on the order paper today.
Honorable members, there being no any other business, the House stands adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, 29th May 2024 at 9 a.m.